Hi, this is Emil, and in this video I'm going to show you how to work with pre-designed editing formulas in Mextures. So now, at this point we are exactly where the previous video left off, and I have made some adjustments to this image by applying 3 layers to it, and once I tap this OK icon, I get the option to save my progress. And so if I tap on the save icon, okay, so I have the option to export the image to photo library, which will just save the image itself. Or I can save the current formula and then apply the exact same adjustments to other photos in the future. So let me do that. I'm going to call this desert, and I think that it might look good on other desert photos. So now I've saved the formula. And if I want to just get out of this screen and start editing from scratch, I would tap on the photo once, and that opens up all the controls. I would tap on the X icon and do a start over. Okay, so what I can do now is just import another photo. And as you can see, I have a few photos that look quite similar to this that I shoot at the same location. So let me just show you how I can apply the same editing formula to another photo. So I'll select this photo over here. I'll do a bit of cropping so that the composition is nice. And I think this is about as good as I can do it. So I'll tap crop. And now Mextures opens up the editing windows again. And instead of going to texture packs, this time I'm going to open formulas. And I'll select my formulas. And here I have 3 formulas, including dessert, which is the last formula we made. So if I like this formula, I'm going to tap the OK. And now all the exact same adjustments are added to this image. If I wanted to, I could edit the individual layers just like I did it before. But honestly, I think this is already very, very good. So I can just tap the OK mark, and I can save the same image using the exact same adjustments that I did before. And if this took me a long time when I created this formula for the first time, right now I could just do editing within literally 10 seconds. So that's the power of formulas. And let me just show you one more example of formulas and how this works on yet another image like this. I can do advanced photo editing like this within seconds, and these formulas work particularly well if you have a lot of photos that you want to edit and that they are somewhat similar in terms of the tones that they have and in terms of what those photos show. Now, another thing about Mextures is that it not only lets you create your own formulas, but there are a lot of formulas that other people have created for you that you can use as starting point for your own editing. So let me show you how this works. I'll tap the X, start over. I'll import a new photo. And for this video, I think I'm going to work with this photo. I'll reframe everything so that it looks good. Okay, and you see I don't have anything on the left, but actually I like this composition where the girl on the left is just walking into the frame. It makes the whole thing a lot more dynamic. And of course the shadows and the light in the image is also very interesting, so I like this image. So let me just press crop. And now let's go to formulas. And here you not only have your own formulas, but you also have guest formulas, which are formulas that were created by other iPhone artists and that Mextures have preloaded into the app. Or you can use summer formulas, and both work exactly the same way. So I'll just demonstrate summer formulas for this image. And here you can see that there are different formulas that you can choose from. Some look better than others. And here at the bottom right of the image you see how many layers this formula has. So some have 4 or 5, some have 7, and the more layers it has, the more complex the adjustments are in general. And I think that for this image, Rotho looks really good. So let me just select that, tap the OK. And now I can use this formula as a starting point for future edits if there's anything else I want to adjust. And here you can see that this formula consists of 6 layers. And I can go through them one by one. I can turn them off if I want to. Or I can just adjust every single layer separately. So let me just try to do that. So this first adjustment makes the image a lot more yellowish and brighter, but I don't want too much of that, so I'll leave it at something like 29. Okay, the second adjustment, if we turn it off, you can sort of see what it does. And I think I like to keep it on, and I also think that increasing the values a bit to something like 35 should work well here. The third one is marble screen. Once again, I can turn marble screen off. And actually in this case, I like the image better without marble screen. So let me just delete that by tapping the X. Okay, delete selected layer. So now we're left with 5 layers in total. So let me move on to the next one. And for this, if we turn it off, the image is like this, but I think it's better to have this on. And let me just play around with opacity a bit. Okay. I think I'll leave it at something like 50, which I think looks good here. Next we have Seaside, which looks kind of interesting, but let me see what happens if I rotate Seaside. Okay, that's already interesting. And this, I think, is even better. So I'm going to leave Seaside at this, and let me see if I need to adjust opacity. And I think that increasing opacity a bit to something like 40 is better here. Well, I can't get 40 exactly, but it doesn't really matter here. Okay, finally we have Sky Earth. Let me see what happens when we turn that off. And I like the image with Sky Earth on better actually. So let me leave that on. Now let me increase Sky Earth just to see what it looks like. Okay. And I think I like it at something like 45. Alright, so now that I'm happy with the current adjustments, I can tap the OK mark. And now, if I want to, I can try to add even more adjustments by tapping a new layer icon, which is the plus sign here. So I'm going to use current pack because I think that what I'm looking for is right here in these vintage adjustments. And just let me see if there's anything interesting I can find here. And I think that Tropicana could work really well here, or perhaps Polaroid, because I want to make this image a tiny bit warmer. And this is a bit cold right here. So let me see what can I do with Polaroid. I don't really like how the top of the building is now red, but let me try changing the rotation of this effect. Okay. This is perhaps a bit better, and if we go into blending modes by tapping the magic wand, we can choose between different blending modes until we find something that I think works well. Now I don't want to make the image too dark, so perhaps soft light can work well here. So I'm going to select soft light. Now let me adjust opacity. I'm going to leave it at something like 50 for now. And I think that I could do perhaps something even more. So let me add one more adjustment by creating a new layer. I'm going to once again use the current pack. And this time I'll see what I can do with the Tropicana adjustment. Okay, I really like the orange in the central part of the image, but let's see what happens when we rotate this adjustment. Okay, I like the previous rotation better. So I'm just going to go back to that. Okay, because this keeps the pavement orange, which I think looks very interesting and unusual. What I also want to do here is look at blending modes. Let's see what soft light does. Okay, soft light would be one option. Most of these are way too strong, so they're not going to work. How about multiply? Okay, a bit too strong for me. Let's try overlay. And overlay I think is quite interesting. So I'm going to select overlay. And finally I'm going to adjust the opacity. And I think something like 30 looks better. Okay, so now that I'm happy with the results, I have 7 layers in total, which is kind of crazy. And it's probably going to take a while to save the image, but I'll go ahead and do that by tapping on the save icon. Okay, let's choose save to photo library. And now our work is saved. Okay, that's all in this video, and in the next video about Mextures, I'm going to show you yet another interesting workflow using this amazing photo effects app.